Many women believe collagen support begins with creams, supplements, or treatments later in the day, yet in practice, some of the most meaningful changes often start much earlier quietly, with what the body receives in the morning. Certain juices, when chosen with intention after 50, don't simply refresh or nourish, but help the skin hold hydration, support collagen structure, and soften the way wrinkles settle as the day unfolds long before skincare even comes into play. As a gynecologist who has spent more than 15 years working with women through menopause and the years that follow, I'm Dr. Eliza Hart, and one of the most consistent patterns I see in my patients is that skin changes after 50 are rarely about a lack of effort, but about timing. The morning in particular is a quiet biological window when the body is unusually receptive, and small choices made early can influence hydration, circulation, and collagen behavior for the entire day. That's why in today's video, I want to share 7 carefully chosen morning juices that support collagen and help wrinkles appear less settled, not through quick fixes or trends, but through gentle cooperation with how the body functions after midlife. If women's health after 50 matters to you, I invite you to subscribe to this channel and leave a comment with the name of the country you're watching from, because it truly helps me see how far this message is reaching across the world. Please stay with me until the end, because I have a small but important surprise related to this topic that many women overlook. And now let's begin with the first morning juice and why it matters for your skin. 1. Cucumber plus celery juice, hydration signaling for morning collagen. If you've ever looked in the mirror shortly after waking and felt that your skin seemed tighter, more lined, or less responsive than it did later in the day, you're noticing a phenomenon that is deeply familiar in clinical practice, yet rarely explained clearly to women after 50. This morning stiffness often creates quiet concern because it appears suddenly even when sleep, skincare, and hydration habits have been consistent, leading many women to assume their collagen is simply disappearing faster than expected. In my work with postmenopausal patients, this pattern is rarely caused by an overnight loss of collagen itself, but by a temporary loss of collagen flexibility linked to how hydration behaves in the early morning hours. After menopause, changes in vascular tone and cellular signaling reduce the efficiency with which water moves from the bloodstream into connective tissue. Hydration may still be present in the body, yet fail to reach collagen fibers in sufficient amounts to maintain spacing and elasticity. When that internal support is lacking, collagen fibers contract slightly, making fine lines appear sharper and facial movement feel less fluid as the day begins. Cucumber and celery juice addresses this issue not by increasing fluid intake indiscriminately, but by sending a more precise hydration signal. Both vegetables are naturally rich in potassium and structured water, which encourages slower absorption and improves how hydration is distributed into connective tissue instead of being rapidly filtered out. For aging skin, this gradual delivery matters because collagen responds better to steady hydration than to sudden volume, especially when hormonal support is no longer consistent. Another reason this combination works well in the morning is its minimal digestive demand. Heavier or more concentrated drinks can redirect circulation toward digestion at a time when the skin is already under-supported. Cucumber and celery juice allows hydration to reach peripheral tissues without creating metabolic distraction, making it particularly suitable for women who wake with low appetite, mild bloating, or digestive sensitivity. Over years of observation, I've noticed that women who use this type of guided hydration consistently describe changes in how their skin behaves, rather than dramatic visual shifts. The face feels less tight, makeup settles more smoothly, and lines appear slower to deepen as expressions accumulate throughout the morning. These subtle improvements suggest that collagen fibers are remaining more flexible during a window when they are typically most vulnerable. Prepared simply with fresh ingredients and consumed at room temperature several mornings a week, this juice helps establish a hydration foundation that collagen can actually use. Once that foundation is in place, attention naturally moves toward how collagen renewal and structural support are maintained beneath the surface as the day continues. 2. Carrot plus orange juice, fibroblast activation and collagen renewal. There is a quiet moment many women notice after 50 when the skin no longer seems to rebound the way it once did, not dramatically, but subtly, as if its ability to recover has slowed just enough to be felt. Wrinkles do not suddenly appear overnight, yet day by day they seem to settle more firmly, creating the impression that the skin is no longer repairing itself with the same ease. This change often leads women to focus on surface solutions, even though the real shift is happening deeper at the level of cellular renewal. In clinical settings, I frequently see this pattern in women whose collagen is still present but behaving differently. After midlife, the issue is less about collagen quantity and more about collagen turnover, meaning how effectively old fibers are repaired and new ones are formed. Fibroblasts, the cells responsible for producing collagen, become slower and more selective with age, particularly when key nutritional signals are inconsistent. Without the right cues, these cells conserve energy rather than actively renewing the collagen matrix, which allows fine lines to become more persistent over time. Carrot and orange juice supports this renewal process by delivering two nutrients that fibroblasts rely on: most vitamin A and vitamin C, in a form the body can recognize and use efficiently in the morning. Beta-carotene from carrots serves as a precursor to vitamin A, which influences cell differentiation and repair, while vitamin C from oranges is essential for collagen synthesis and fiber stabilization. Together, they create a biological environment that gently encourages fibroblasts to re-engage in maintenance rather than remain in a dormant protective state. What makes this combination particularly appropriate after 50 is its balance. Unlike aggressive supplementation, which can overstimulate aging cells' nutrients from whole foods, arrive in proportions the body is accustomed to processing. This allows fibroblasts to respond without stress, supporting gradual renewal rather than forced production. In women who describe their skin as thinner, flatter, or slower to recover after expression, this type of gentle stimulation often proves more effective than stronger interventions. Over time, women who incorporate this juice consistently tend to describe a shift in skin behavior rather than immediate visual change. The skin appears slightly fuller, lines feel less etched, and the face seems to hold its shape more steadily as the day progresses. These observations align with improved collagen maintenance rather than sudden rebuilding, which is a more realistic and sustainable goal after midlife. Prepared simply and consumed earlier in the day, this juice helps remind aging fibroblasts that repair is still expected of them. Once renewal pathways are supported, the next consideration becomes whether collagen is receiving enough oxygen and circulation to fully benefit from that work. 3. Beetroot plus apple juice, circulation and oxygen, delivery to skin. At some point after midlife, many women begin to notice that their skin looks dull or tired, even on days when they feel rested, well hydrated, and consistent with their routines, as if brightness has faded in a way that skincare alone cannot revive. This change often feels confusing because it does not follow the usual rules of aging we are taught to expect, and it quietly suggests that something beneath the surface is no longer reaching the skin the way it once did, despite outward efforts to care for it. In clinical practice, this presentation frequently points to circulation rather than collagen loss itself. After 50, blood flow becomes more conservative, prioritizing vital organs and gradually reducing delivery to peripheral tissues, such as the skin, hands, and face. This shift is subtle and progressive, which is why it often goes unnoticed for years. When circulation slows, oxygen and nutrients arrive less efficiently, and collagen fibers, even when present and structurally intact, begin to function below their potential. The skin may appear flatter, less luminous, and slower to respond, not because it lacks collagen, but because that collagen is operating in an oxygen-poor environment. Beetroot and apple juice supports the skin by addressing this overlooked circulatory shift. Beets are a natural source of dietary nitrates which the body converts into nitric oxide, a compound that helps relax blood vessels and improve microcirculation at the capillary level. Apples contribute polyphenols that support vascular integrity and help stabilize blood flow, particularly in smaller vessels. Together, they encourage oxygen-rich blood to reach the skin more consistently, especially during the morning hours when circulation is just beginning to rise and tissues are most receptive. This mechanism is especially relevant after menopause, when declining estrogen reduces vascular elasticity and limits the ability of blood vessels to adapt quickly to changing demands. Without adequate oxygen delivery, collagen fibers become less resilient and more prone to fatigue, which allows fine lines to appear more prominent and the skin to lose its natural vitality. Improving circulation does not create new collagen overnight, but it restores the conditions collagen needs to perform its structural role effectively. Women who begin supporting circulation in this way often describe subtle but meaningful shifts. The skin appears more awake. Makeup reflects light more evenly, and facial features feel less heavy as the day progresses. These changes reflect improved oxygen delivery rather than surface hydration, and they tend to build gradually with consistency. When prepared fresh and consumed earlier in the day, this juice helps reopen pathways that aging circulation has quietly narrowed. Once oxygen delivery improves, the next question becomes whether collagen is being adequately protected from the internal stressors that continue to wear it down over time. 4. Aloe vera plus lemon juice, gut hormone axis for collagen stability. One of the most overlooked moments in skin aging after 50 is not something women see in the mirror, but something they feel quietly inside the body. A lingering sense that digestion no longer feels settled, that mornings begin with subtle heaviness, or that the body seems slower to clear what it no longer needs. What many women do not realize is that this internal imbalance often shows itself on the face long before it becomes a clear digestive complaint. In clinical practice, this pattern appears again and again in postmenopausal women whose wrinkles seem to deepen despite consistent skincare and hydration. After menopause, hormonal shifts alter gut motility, microbial balance, and intestinal permeability, creating a state of low-grade inflammation that rarely causes obvious pain, yet continuously sends stress signals throughout the body. Collagen is particularly sensitive to this environment. When inflammatory signals circulate, unchecked enzymes involved in collagen breakdown become more active, weakening fibers and reducing their ability to maintain structure and resilience. Aloe vera and lemon juice supports collagen stability by addressing this process at its origin rather than at the surface. Aloe vera contains polysaccharides that help soothe the intestinal lining and support gut barrier integrity, reducing the passage of inflammatory signals into circulation. Lemon, when used gently and diluted, stimulates bile flow and digestive signaling, helping the body process and eliminate metabolic byproducts more efficiently. Together, they create conditions that lower inflammatory pressure on collagen rather than attempting to counteract damage after it has already occurred. This approach becomes increasingly important after midlife, when estrogen no longer provides the same protective modulation of inflammation. Without that buffering effect, even mild digestive imbalance can translate into visible skin changes over time. By calming the gut and supporting hormonal signaling indirectly, this juice helps collagen remain more stable, allowing fibers to hold their form instead of gradually weakening under constant inflammatory stress. Women who incorporate this combination consistently often describe changes that feel systemic rather than cosmetic. The body feels lighter in the morning, facial tension softens, and wrinkles appear less reactive to daily stressors. These shifts reflect improved internal regulation rather than superficial smoothing, which is why they tend to build steadily instead of fading quickly. If this connection between digestion and wrinkles feels familiar to you, comment 1 if you've noticed skin changes alongside bloating or digestive discomfort after 50, or comment 0 if this hasn't been part of your experience. Prepared gently and consumed earlier in the day, this juice helps quiet internal signals that silently undermine collagen. Once that internal environment is stabilized, attention naturally turns toward protecting collagen from the oxidative stress it faces as the day progresses. 5. Pomegranate plus berry juice, polyphenol, protection against collagen breakdown. Many women are puzzled by a frustrating contradiction that appears after midlife, the realization that even with careful eating, hydration, and skincare, wrinkles still seem to deepen quietly over time, as though collagen is being worn down faster than it can be supported. This experience often feels discouraging because it suggests that effort alone is no longer enough, and that something unseen may be working against the skin beneath the surface, gradually shaping its texture without obvious warning. From a clinical perspective, this pattern frequently points to collagen breakdown rather than insufficient collagen support. After 50, the balance between collagen formation and collagen degradation shifts not dramatically but persistently as repair mechanisms slow while breakdown processes remain active. Enzymes responsible for degrading collagen become more sensitive to oxidative stress and inflammatory signaling, both of which increase gradually with age and daily metabolic demand. When this imbalance continues unchecked over years rather than weeks, collagen fibers lose cohesion and strength, allowing wrinkles to become more defined even when the skin appears well nourished. Pomegranate and berry juice addresses this issue by targeting one of the most underestimated drivers of collagen loss: oxidative damage at the cellular level. Pomegranates are rich in polyphenols such as Collagen and ellagic acid, while berries provide anthocyanins and flavonoids, compounds known to neutralize free radicals and modulate enzyme activity involved in collagen degradation. Together, they help slow the activity of collagen-breaking enzymes, allowing existing fibers to remain intact longer, rather than being continuously dismantled and imperfectly rebuilt. This protective role becomes especially important after menopause, when estrogen's antioxidant influence declines and the skin loses a natural buffer against oxidative stress. Without that hormonal support, collagen is exposed more directly to metabolic byproducts, environmental factors, and the cumulative strain of daily physiological processes. Preserving collagen under these conditions is often more impactful than attempting to stimulate rapid production, which aging skin may no longer sustain efficiently. Women who regularly support collagen protection in this way often describe a gradual change in how wrinkles behave, rather than an immediate smoothing effect. Lines appear less reactive to stress, facial features hold their shape more steadily throughout the day, and the skin seems better able to maintain its structure despite normal movement. These observations reflect improved collagen preservation rather than sudden renewal. When prepared with a variety of berries and consumed earlier in the day, this juice offers a gentle yet meaningful layer of defense for collagen fibers. Once breakdown is slowed and structural integrity is better preserved, the next question becomes whether the body is able to absorb and utilize the building blocks collagen still requires to remain resilient. 6. Papaya plus pineapple juice, enzyme, support for collagen absorption. There comes a point after midlife when many women realize that eating well no longer guarantees the results it once did, not because their choices are wrong, but because the body is no longer able to use those choices as efficiently as before. Protein intake may be adequate, vitamins may be present, and yet the skin still appears slower to recover, softer around the edges, and less responsive to nourishment, creating a quiet sense that something essential is being lost along the way. Clinically, this pattern often reflects a decline in digestive enzyme activity rather than a lack of nutrients themselves. After 50, the production of key digestive enzymes gradually decreases, influenced by hormonal shifts, slower gastric signaling, and reduced pancreatic output. This alters how proteins are broken down and how amino acids are absorbed at the intestinal level. Collagen synthesis depends heavily on a steady supply of these amino acids, and when digestion becomes less efficient, the skin may be deprived of the raw materials it needs, even when the diet appears sufficient on paper. In this context, collagen support fails not at the level of intake, but at the level of utilization. Papaya and pineapple juice addresses this limitation by supporting digestion at a fundamental level. Papaya contains papain and pineapple provides bromelain, both proteolytic enzymes that assist in breaking proteins into absorbable amino acids. These enzymes do not stimulate collagen directly, but they improve the body's ability to access the building blocks required for collagen maintenance and repair, allowing existing synthesis pathways to function more reliably. This distinction is critical after midlife, when forcing production is far less effective than improving metabolic efficiency. What makes this combination particularly valuable is its gentle nature. Enzymes derived from whole foods work in harmony with the digestive system rather than overriding it, reducing the risk of irritation or imbalance. For women who experience heaviness after meals, slow digestion, or a sense that food no longer lands the way it once did, this support can quietly restore metabolic flow without demanding drastic changes. Over time, women who improve enzyme support often notice shifts that feel subtle yet meaningful. The skin appears more responsive, recovery from daily stress feels smoother, and facial features regain a sense of cohesion rather than gradual sagging. These changes suggest that collagen is receiving more consistent nourishment, not because more is being consumed, but because more is finally being absorbed. Prepared, fresh, and consumed earlier in the day, this juice helps bridge the gap between nourishment and utilization. Once absorption improves, the final consideration becomes whether the structural framework that holds collagen in place is receiving the mineral support it needs to remain strong. 7. Spinach plus green apple juice. Mineral support for collagen matrix strength. At a certain stage after 50, many women stop worrying about dryness or wrinkles and begin to sense something harder to describe, a feeling that the skin no longer has its former tension, as if it has quietly lost its internal grip. The face may still look cared for, hydration may feel adequate, yet there is a subtle slackness that appears in movement, posture, and expression, creating the impression that firmness is slipping away without a clear cause. In clinical practice, this experience often points to changes in the collagen matrix rather than a shortage of collagen itself. Collagen fibers depend on a supportive mineral framework that maintains their alignment spacing and ability to resist mechanical stress. After midlife, mineral handling becomes less efficient due to hormonal shifts, reduced absorption, and altered distribution between bone muscle and connective tissue. When this internal scaffolding weakens gradually over time, collagen may remain present but loses the structural context it needs to perform effectively, resulting in skin that feels less elastic, even when other factors are well managed. Spinach and green apple juice supports this foundational layer by supplying minerals that play a quiet but essential role in connective tissue strength. Spinach provides magnesium, iron, and vitamin K nutrients involved in cellular energy production, oxygen delivery, and tissue stability. These minerals help maintain the biochemical environment that allows collagen fibers to stay organized and resilient under daily movement. Green apples contribute organic acids and phytonutrients that enhance mineral uptake and support gentle detoxification pathways, helping the body retain and utilize these nutrients more efficiently rather than losing them through imbalance. This form of support becomes increasingly relevant after menopause, when estrogen no longer aids mineral retention or tissue repair in the same way. Without sufficient matrix support, collagen fibers fatigue more quickly under the demands of daily facial movement, gravity, and posture. Over time, this leads to a gradual loss of elasticity that cannot be corrected by hydration or stimulation alone. Reinforcing the matrix does not aim to increase collagen production, but to stabilize the structure that gives collagen its functional strength. Women who focus on matrix support often describe changes that feel structural rather than cosmetic. The skin appears more composed, facial contours feel steadier, and elasticity seems less reactive to daily stress. These shifts tend to develop gradually, reflecting improved internal support rather than superficial tightening. Prepared simply and consumed earlier in the day, this juice helps restore mineral balance that collagen relies on to maintain firmness. Once the matrix is supported, the final step is understanding how to use these morning juices together in a way that maximizes their benefits without overwhelming the body. 8. How to use these morning drinks for best results. One of the most common reasons women feel disappointed with otherwise healthy habits is not because the choices themselves are wrong, but because they are applied without a clear rhythm. After 50, the body becomes far less forgiving of excess overlap or inconsistency, and collagen in particular responds poorly when too many signals arrive at once or arrive without pattern. What looks like dedication on the surface can quietly translate into confusion at the cellular level. From a clinical standpoint, collagen responds best to clarity rather than intensity. Each of the morning juices we've discussed works through a distinct biological pathway: hydration signaling, cellular renewal circulation, inflammation control, protection, absorption, and structural support. When these signals are layered together in the same morning, the body often prioritizes balance and elimination over utilization. This is why more effort does not always produce better results, especially in the years after menopause, when regulatory systems move more slowly. The first principle, therefore, is simplicity. One juice per morning allows the body to recognize and respond to a single dominant signal without competition. This creates a clearer biological message and improves the likelihood that collagen-related pathways will engage effectively. Rotation rather than repetition is the second principle. Using the same juice every day can lead to diminished responsiveness over time, while rotating 2 or 3 options across the week keeps cellular signaling receptive without creating stress. Timing also plays a critical role. These drinks are most effective when consumed within the first 90 minutes after waking during a window, when circulation is rising and tissues are particularly responsive. Taken too late in the morning or alongside heavy meals, their impact is often blunted as digestion and blood sugar regulation take priority over skin support. Temperature matters as well. Room temperature or slightly warm preparations encourage circulation, while cold drinks can slow absorption in aging bodies. Consistency should be measured in weeks rather than days. Collagen adapts gradually, and meaningful change reflects accumulated stability rather than immediate transformation. Many women notice improved comfort and skin behavior within 2 to 3 weeks, while visible changes in firmness or wrinkle stability often emerge after 4 to 6 weeks of steady practice. Equally important is restraint. Increasing portions or adding multiple juices in hopes of faster results often undermines progress by overloading digestion and hydration pathways. Collagen benefits from repeatable, moderate signals that the body can integrate without resistance. When these principles are respected, morning juices stop functioning as isolated remedies and begin to act as a coordinated system. At that point, collagen is no longer being pushed or chased, but supported in a way that aligns with how the body actually works after midlife. As we step back and look at everything we've discussed, one message becomes clear: after 50, collagen does not respond to force trends or intensity, but to consistency, timing, and clarity. Each morning juice we explored supports collagen from a different angle: hydration, renewal, circulation, protection, absorption, and structure. And when used thoughtfully, they work together to help wrinkles settle less deeply and skin remain more resilient throughout the day. This is not about chasing youth or reversing time, but about giving your body signals it can still recognize and use with confidence. My advice is simple and realistic. Choose one juice that feels most aligned with your body right now, stay with it consistently, and allow change to unfold gradually. Small, repeatable habits are far more powerful than dramatic efforts that the body cannot sustain. If this video brought you clarity or reassurance, and you'd like to support the continued growth of this channel, you're welcome to make a small donation. It's never expected, but it genuinely helps me keep creating research-based content for women later in life. Before you go, please like this video, share it with someone who may benefit, subscribe to the channel, and thank you for spending this time with me today.